You're tuned in to Oilers Nation Every Day with Tyler Yaremchuk, live every weekday on the Nation Network YouTube.
Hey, where's the dumbass that said they shouldn't have started Campbell on Saturday? We'll find him. Let's get into it with the lead. Damn, can't be right all the time, hey Liam?
You miss all the shots you don't take, though, Tyler.
Yeah,
so
we should just run back the start of yesterday's show, or the point in yesterday's show where I said it was a mistake to start Jack Campbell. I stand by that take, by the way, but hey, Jack Campbell had his statement moment as an Edmonton Oiler, and it was a feel-good Saturday night in Edmonton. Welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day, live from the Sports Closet studio. We got a new jersey courtesy of our friends at the Sports Closet as well. They got me some of that fresh Mitchell and Ness gear to throw up in the satellite studio for Sports Closet, and it looks fresh. If you're looking to gear up for the playoffs, that stuff looks fantastic. You can get it all at sportscloset.ca. You can also get Nation gear there, and we have a new little bit of Nation gear to plug, to talk about, to wear. We don't have any today.
Nope.
I'd love to have some if anyone from our sales team is listening outside of the studio right now. But the Oilers clinch on Saturday, and I mean, there was a lot going on Saturday. There's a lot for us to get to today on the show, but oil up, Edmonton. We're going back to the playoffs. Yeah, get that up there, Aaron. Oh, we might need a second. Oh,
well, we can just rotate through.
Rotate through, because there's the new playoff tee that's up now, and also a brand new Leon Draisaitl shirt that's up now on the site as well. Nationgear.ca. The playoff motto is #OilUp, and I love it because that's the one I voted for.
Yep, I'll be oiled up the whole playoff run.
It's going to be an oily spring in the YEG. If you want to get your oil up tee, you can head to nationgear.ca now. There are two different colors. There is a black and a teal, or black and blue, I should say. And then there's a white and the orange. We'll give you guys a look at those a little bit later on in the show. But oil up. We got fresh tees, Leon Draisaitl. Why do we launch a new Leon Draisaitl tee? Oh, because the big man hit 50 goals again. That'll get talked about a little bit later. Oh, we're almost there. I can see Aaron working so hard in the back end to get these images up for us. But in the meantime, we'll head over to the YouTube chat. Oilers Nation on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Wise Kyle, first one in the chat. He said, I told you. Soupy was getting a shutout. Every Oiler is pulling the rope the same way. Look out, NHL. And damn it, that's where I want to start today on the show. It really does feel like everyone on this team is hitting their stride at the right moment.
Yeah, everyone's pulling their weight. Literally every single player I thought on Saturday was impactful in some little way. And it's very important at this time of year. And I know it's just the Anaheim Ducks, but we've had this conversation almost every single time we play a weaker opponent, like, oh, the Oilers don't get up for them, which is a false narrative, but I understand it in some ways. But boy, oh boy, did the Oilers get up for this one. 6-0, and Anaheim, 34 shots, sorry. Never really felt like a threat to me at all.
Well, yeah, that was the weird part for me, is as you watched that game kind of go along, and it was like dominant shift, on and on and on and on. And then you're like, and there's been 70 shots in this hockey game. Like, I mean, the Oilers went north of 40, but for the Ducks to put up that many shots, I was really surprised because, like you said, it didn't feel that way at all. The Ducks finished the game with 32 shots at 5-on-5. Natural stat trick said they only had 10 high danger attempts in that hockey game. It was a dominant win. There was never any doubt in the Edmonton Oilers. We can't really see it, but as we get into our three big things for our friends at Betway, I did update this. It says still only 1 day since our last shutout. So we'll see how long the Oilers can keep it rolling for. It's 120 some minutes because they got one late in that other game, right, against Vegas.
Oh,
no, we'd have to think about the game against LA.
Arizona. Wasn't it Arizona before Vegas?
Boy, we should have prepped for this show.
Okay, Edmonton Oilers. That's what we're looking at, right? Okay,
yeah, we're on fire today, everybody. It's Mail It In Monday. Honestly, we had a good weekend, and now I'm just kind of like, meh. Let's catch up while Liam is doing that. Tyler Mulick says Nikita Nestorenko is such an EA-created player name, 100%. Kyle the Embalmer says that didn't bring up my confidence that much for Campbell. I mean, we'll get into that in a bit, I guess. Odin says Nurse has been pretty damn good. It was the Marchessault goal, right?
121 minutes and 32 seconds.
There you go.
since the shutout streak.
We'll see how long it goes. The Oilers back in action tomorrow night against the Anaheim Ducks, or against the LA Kings. Back-to-backs against LA and Anaheim coming. But first, let's break down what we saw on Saturday. It's our 3 big things brought to you by our friends at Betway. Shout out to Betway, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. I know our guy Aaron had a couple of shekels on a Jack Campbell shutout, and it came through for him. That's number one. Jack Campbell has a statement game as an Edmonton Oiler. His 20th win of the season is his first shutout of the season. 36 saves to match the 36 that sits on his back. Listen, that is a awful team in Anaheim. They are not good. But he still stopped 36 shots. There were a couple good looks that he turned aside in that hockey game as well. It wasn't one of those games where he, quote-unquote, stole it for the Edmonton Oilers, but a shutout is a shutout, and that is impressive nonetheless. A building block for Jack Campbell this season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of game left, but I'm just glad it finally happened for him, Like, he kind of had that game. San Jose came really, really close, didn't he? I can't remember who scored that late one against him, but he got it done, and that's what mattered. We saw a pretty good glimpse of it in the first period of Arizona, where he made a lot of good saves, and then the game kind of got away from him in the third period. A couple of squeaky runs, but they didn't occur on Saturday night, and that's the important thing is he stopped all the shots he faced, and hopefully that just helps him confidence-wise going forward and if we do need him at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's probably getting 2 more games this year. He's probably getting one of the 2 against San Jose, and he's getting one of these next 2 this week as well. And the Oilers are going to go into these games against LA and Anaheim and have, in each of them, a goalie starting who's coming off a shutout. And that is just absolutely crazy to think of. So it's been a nice run for the Oilers goaltending, and it all goes into what we said off the top, and that is everyone seems to be pulling in the right direction here, and that is awesome. I had listener Colin who tweeted me and said, with Campbell's victory last night, it's actually the first time the Oilers have had 2 20-win goalies since 86-87 with Fear and Andy Moog. Skinner Campbell is the only 2 other duo who accomplished this feat. So that's a pretty neat little stat built in there, and it says a lot about what this Oilers team is doing right now. And it's, again, guys all pulling in the same direction, and a lot of players who I think are hitting their peaks at the right time. You know who else is probably hitting their peak right now? It's the guy who got his 50th goal of the season in that hockey game, Leon Draisaitl. We have been talking about the big man with number 29 on his back for a couple of weeks now. Liam, it felt like, and again, I'll go back to what he said during the All-Star break in Florida. He said he was not happy with his play throughout the season. The numbers were there, but he didn't like a whole heck of a lot else in his hockey game. Right there, he creates a bit of a disruption. It leads to a rush the other way, and he's able to throw that 50th into the far side. Just an absolutely ridiculous shot for Leon Draisaitl, but that goal started in his own end. This guy is playing a full 180-foot game. He is scoring goals. He is passing the puck at his usual elite level. He is playing physical. He is skating better than I've seen him skate all season. Leon Draisaitl is at his absolute peak right now, and it is coming at almost the damn near perfect time. That was an unbelievable performance by him. He loves playing the Anaheim Ducks. He routinely kills the Anaheim Ducks, and the hat trick on Saturday was no exception to that. 9 shots on goal as well for Draisaitl as we get a look at him posing with his big bags of hats. I don't know where he'll find room in his house for all of those hats.
He'll probably just put them with all the other hat tricks, I guess, in the basement.
Just a hat room.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Tyler. Is Leon Draisaitl is he the best player on the Oilers right now? I know that's an absolute wild comment to make with McDavid there, but boy, oh boy, this guy has been taking over games recently.
Since the trade deadline, both McDavid and Draisaitl have 31 points in those 16 games. That is crazy. That's absolutely insane. Nuts. In the last 2 weeks, Leon Draisaitl has 16 points in 7 games. Connor McDavid has 12 in 7 games. Actually, McDavid not even producing as much as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins right now either. That board was just...
It looks like I copied 75 into 2 slots instead of 1.
Yeah, can we have it back up, actually?
Throw it up. Breaking news, Leon Draisaitl has 75 goals this season.
Hey, win some, we lose some. But as of late, this is the kind of pace it feels Leon Draisaitl's been on. 6 goals in his last 7 games, Liam. He is, right now, I think that's a great point. I hadn't thought about it. I'm happy you brought it up. He's the best player on the Oilers right now.
I think he is. And like you said, Saturday night, he said it in his post game. He's like, you kind of know where you're at, and you do get a little bit more selfish in the third period once that game kind of gets out of the way a little bit. And then I'm glad to see the honesty of somebody who thinks that, because we all know it, right? But yeah, it's just his form recently has been outstanding, and it makes you think like he must be like pretty much fully healthy at the moment. That's kind of my thing. He must have just been lingering with that ankle and like other things. Obviously, he's missed a couple of games this season too. So I think this is peak Leon Draisaitl, and we mentioned it then, but like Darnell is also playing really well at the moment. Ekholm is too. Bouchard, both goaltenders have shutouts. Everybody else, Nugi's almost at 100. Like the Oilers players are hitting almost their peak of the season 10 games before the playoffs, or 6 games before the playoffs start. Like, things really couldn't be going better for this team at the moment, and hopefully they can continue that way.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will need 3 points in his final 4 games if he wants to hit the 100-point mark. Sorry, final 5 games for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 3 points. He's sitting at 97 after picking up an apple against the Anaheim Ducks. But the big story offensively was Leon Draisaitl. The big story between the pipes was Jack Campbell. The big story on the blue line continues to be Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, and they are my third big thing for our friends at Betway. Liam, this duo, they just keep going. It's as simple as that. I mean, I joked last week that it feels like after every game we could sit here and talk about just how dynamic that duo is. And there is a lot to like about them. And listen, 5-on-5 minutes together since Ekholm came over. They played 221 minutes together. In that span, the shots are 126 to 118 for the Edmonton Oilers. The goals are 21-8 for the Edmonton Oilers. They've actually played, and I found this to be a little interesting. It's high event hockey when they're on the ice. Yeah. For a duo that you kind of looked at and you're like, oh, Ekholm's going to like calm things down on the blue line. I mean, the numbers show it. He hasn't had that kind of effect at all on Evan Bouchard, but what he's done is unlocked a pairing that actually moves the puck in a positive direction very, very well. Hear me out, they're a dynamic offensive pairing. And what I'll say is we all expected Ekholm to calm down Evan Bouchard. And I actually think what's happened is he's given Evan Bouchard the freeness to do what he does best. And now we're watching a pairing that actually drives play. They don't just sit back and suppress the opposition. The players they're on the ice with in those 221 minutes are getting better results, are getting more offensive chances because of what this duo is doing on the ice. So again, the goals, when they're on the ice together at 5-on-5, 21-8. The two of them have combined for 25 points in that span, 6 goals and 19 assists. And more importantly, the Edmonton Oilers are 13-2-1 in that span. This is a legitimate top pairing in today's NHL. And this is actually the makeup and the construction for what you want in a legitimate top pairing.
Yeah, it's a very interesting duo. Like you said, just the idea of Ekholm was going to come in and stabilize everything. And he has, in the sense of like, now that there's pairings throughout the lineup and you don't have to mix and match so much. But yeah, with Evan Bouchard, like I tweeted out on Saturday night about Ekholm. It's like that guy just doesn't play a position in the offensive zone.
No,
he got a tip. He tipped a puck on net on Saturday night. McDavid's goal, the one where he came around, Ekholm was a screen. Like, it's the most absurd thing, but it works so well. And yeah, they just have found such a groove together. And I think it's just unlocked out of anything on Bouchard, just a level of confidence that, like, hey, like, you can be yourself in the offensive zone because that's what you're best at. Like, and Ekholm has just found this rhythm of, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And Bouchard is working with it very, very well.
They just really seem to read each other really, really well. A comment in the chat from Tyler Mulick, who says CC and Nurse have played really well together as of late. That duo 15-21 at 5-on-5 against the Anaheim Ducks. Shots were 15-15, and the Oilers outscored the Ducks 1-0 with them on the ice. The Oilers' blue line seems to be rounding into form, and it is honestly just the arrival of Matthias Ekholm that seems to have changed so much for this group. It's go time for this Oilers team. You have 2 generational talents who are playing at what very well could be their peaks right now. You have a supporting cast of Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Evander Kane, who are elite. When it comes to a second layer of scoring in the NHL, you will not find a second layer that is better than Nuge, Hyman, and Kane, and they're all starting to play well again. On the blue line, you have a legitimate top pairing in Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, 2 guys who are averaging north of 20 minutes a game together. again, if you could sit there and go, oh, Oilers colored glasses, that's not a top pairing, blah, 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 blah. It is, man. Like, Matthias Ekholm does everything, and Evan Bouchard is a young up-and-coming top 4 D-man who has now found a perfect partner. And I love this tweet from Jack Michaels, which is the exclamation point on this little rant, this mini rant I'm on. Boston Bruins were the best team in the league for the first 90 days of the season. The Edmonton Oilers have been the best team in the league for the last 82. 13-2-1 since they made the move and brought in Matthias Ekholm, or since the trade deadline, I should say, since the calendar flipped to January 1, which includes a slump by the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, since the calendar flipped, they had a dry spell in there to start that year. They are third in the NHL tied for second in the NHL with 57 points. They sit alone in second in points percentage. Only the Bruins have more. It's just been an unbelievable run for this team. And I know there were some points where it was kind of like, it got hairy for a little bit, you know? But on a whole here, they're looking like a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. And here's the way they're getting people's attention. Over the weekend, it's my dad's 60th birthday today. Happy birthday, my dad Ross. We threw him a nice surprise party on Friday night. He had some friends over, and they were just, hey, Tyler, what do you think about the Oilers this year? And my answer was Stanley Cup or bust, more or less. Yeah. And it's not like the most stunning thing to say. You're not a homer at all for saying that. If you look at pundits around the league, this is a team that a lot of people are legitimately picking to go deep. And I'm just saying sometimes expectation or high expectation leads to a high level of disappointment. That can very well happen. But I think we're in for a long run this spring. It feels like, and everything's pointing in the direction of this being a team that has, do I want to say it? I think I will. Team of Destiny vibes.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that. Probably this weekend, to be honest, was kind of the first time all season where I've always believed they can win the Stanley Cup. But this past week, exam week, which they passed with flying colors, by the way, I just marked it on Sunday.
Good job.
They can do it. They can do it. And I truly believe. And if you don't believe, like, you better start believing. Grab your Oil Up jerseys and T-shirts and get that belief cap on, because these Edmonton Oilers are legit. And you mentioned a lot of guys there, and even you look at that third layer of scoring too. Yamamoto's been really good recently. Bukestad's had a very positive impact on this team. Warren Fogle, we've mentioned his name a lot more. Ryan McLeod isn't even playing. And you look at the fourth line too, like, they have nights too where it's Costin, Clem Shady, who we got, Devin Score, and so many nicknames, Derek Ryan. And they're getting it done as well. And obviously not every night, but there's a lot of confidence going through this lineup at the moment, and they're going to be a tough team. And for me, like, you obviously won the easiest matchup to get to the Stanley Cup final in every round. Like, that's an obvious thing, but the Oilers are the team to beat, and I am, quite frankly, not worried about whatever team they place in the first round anymore.
AB, can we get the, I know you're working on something else. Can we get the Oil Up shirts up again, just for people to take a look at them? Are you a black and blue or orange and white guy?
Black.
Really?
I'm black.
Oh,
yeah.
This is coming from the guy who wears a black hoodie and black hat on 90% of these shows. I like the white. I think the white is real crispy. I want the white, actually, and they're available in shirt form, nationgear.ca. I want to try pull some strings behind the scenes and get a white hoodie. I think that would look cool as hell.
That would be oily.
And I would be the only one who has it. But you can get your shirts now. Playoff tees, Oil Up, Edmonton, nationgear.ca. Also, how about our German prince, Leon Draisaitl? Whew. Effing phenomenal. You know it. Say the line. This one has that nice little, the nod to Germany in there with the flag on phenomenal. 2-9 in between the F and the K. A really neat look. That one's up at nationgear.ca as well. And we had a question in the chat from... No, did I lose it?
I didn't know that one was being made until I saw it, and I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I didn't know we were doing that either. Cool. I really hope. Maybe what are some other milestones we're looking at this year? Maybe one around RNH? Makes you think. Someone asked in the chat where they can get Nation Gear in person when they come by in... Oh, no, what just happened there? There we go. Where they can get Nation Gear in person when they come by in June. Sports Closet, 3 locations in Edmonton and area. Kingsway Mall, St. Albert Mall, Sherwood Park Mall. They sell Nation Gear, and also I think you can go on nationgear.ca and just select in-person pickup as well.
I believe that is an option, yes.
So there you go.
I'm always around the mall, so maybe you'll see me at Sherwood Park. By the Purdy's. I like to get the ice cream there and then go to Sports Closet after. That's not a joke. I do that quite regularly.
Pradneski says, I never wear white, but that's fire, 100%. A lot of you guys wishing my dad a happy birthday. And also, while you're in there, it's Bag Milk's birthday today. So contrary to the dates lining up, Bag Milk is not my dad.
Wow. That is...
It's quite the coincidence.
That is.
It also makes it even more embarrassing that he tricked me into thinking his birthday was 4 months ago. He has not tricked me into thinking he's my dad, although some days it feels like it. But happy birthday to Bag Milk as well. What are you going to get him for his birthday?
Milk.
I made the joke on DFO Live that it's another year around the sun for him, but he is not close to that expiration date yet. This bag of milk got a lot of life left. Yeah, there's still a lot we can milk out of it. Sergeant Battle says, nah, Bag Milk is lying again. No one send that clip to him. Sergeant Battle says, no, he's lying again. I don't believe it anymore. No, it is his birthday. I have it on good authority that it is indeed his birthday. So everyone go wish Bag Milk a happy birthday today as well. Amanda says, the white ones are rad. Just bought one. Best ON design in a while, in my opinion. And I'm actually with you on that. These are one of my favorite shirts we've dropped in a hot minute. And again, I'd love to get one when they're available. Also, maybe one in a hoodie form. I think the hoodie form would do well. Just an idea.
Just speaking of designs, I really, really like the Hope Will Never Die hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones are very cool. I have 3 Nation hoodies. I have the Nation Internet Company, or whatever that one is.
This one, the Nation Network?
I have that one, but that was a work one. From the store, I got the Hope Will Never Die.
Mm-hmm. I love that one.
Oh, I do like the Play La Bomba sweaters, though, that are on there.
That's sharp. I have the Play La Bomba shirt. I don't think I'm wearing it. No, I'm wearing my Keep Nuge Forever shirt today. I like the one with the oil can.
Neon Leon is that's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I like the black.
Goes
with everything.
We wear a lot of black on this show.
We never wear black.
Blends in with the coach. Tyler Mulick says, put him on a crew neck. Yeah, sure. I do like, we've dropped a couple crew necks in the past. Like we did the Oilersnation one with the circle and a crew neck, but we should do more crew necks. Those would be nice. I also think more long sleeves would be good as well. But now we're just turning this whole thing in.
We also have hats.
Yes, we do have hats.
Buy hats. Lots of good hats out there. Here's the hats. My dad just got the J Special brown one.
I feel like we're now at a point in the show where we're doing like one of those late night commercials, and like they sell like a box of CDs or some shit.
Oh, like an yeah.
So anyways, call the number at the bottom of your screen now and in 4 easy payments.
Oh, we got Tyler on the line. Tyler, how many do you want? All of them.
It is also a listener, Anna Manella. It's her birthday too, so happy birthday, Anna.
Anna.
I hope you have a great day.
Me too.
Let me know what your special birthday plans are. Do you have like is there like something you do every birthday?
Every birthday, I like to just honestly not do a lot. I like to just order pizza and just hang out with
and just like chill.
I'm at the point now. Well, actually, I used to make my birthday parties a very big deal. You may remember my 21st birthday party.
When we went like an hour out of town to go to that damn hall.
It's if anyone knows the area, the hall was right by Elk Island, which is like 20 minutes away from my house. Tyler came from St. Albert. It was very far. And then the year after, or maybe it was the year before, I can't remember, I had my birthday party on the pirate ship at West Edmonton Mall. Played beer pong, flip cup. There was a bartender on there.
How funny would it be if we did a show from there?
Oh, it'd be incredible. It was so fun. And the best part was the families that would clearly come to check out the mall taking pictures of the pirate ship, and we were all in the background. It was great.
Maynard says, I get drunk because I'm another year closer to death. Boy, that took it. I should have pre-read that one. Damn, sorry.
Another day.
Let's circle back to the hockey talk because we are getting all over the place today. The Oilers won 6-0 against the Ducks, if you didn't hear. But what does suck is the fact that the Golden Knights won. So the teams around Edmonton picked up victories. Edmonton is now 1 point back of the LA Kings with the same number of games played. That is not ideal. They are 2 points back of Vegas, and Vegas still has a game in hand. Tonight, though, the Golden Knights are in action. It's the AMA Travel out-of-town scoreboard. One game tonight that you really care about. A couple others you'll want to keep an eye on. But Vegas in Minnesota, 6 o'clock Mountain Time puck drop. These two teams played over the weekend, and Vegas got a win. They're now in Mini. Mini is a pretty good home team this year. This is a big night for the Oilers' Pacific Division Championship chances. Pacific Division title, I should say, is a better word to use there. We need a Minnesota win. Nashville's in Dallas. Don't really care what goes on there. Arizona is in Seattle. I'm not really worried about the Kraken catching the Oilers because they're 9 points back with 2 games in hand. So even if they won those games in hand, going to be really hard for them to catch the Edmonton Oilers. So the big one that matters is Vegas and Mini. It could be by the end of tonight, all 3 teams in the Pacific, same number of games played, and there could be 2 points separating first from third. Giddy up. Giddy up.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
I kind of think Minnesota will take it tonight.
It's hard to beat a team twice.
Yeah, especially Minnesota's at home. But they were on the road last game, right? Or was it in
Mini? It was in Vegas.
Yeah, so tonight it's in Mini. I think they'll just split, which is honestly kind of how I expected it to go anyway. Oilers, if they wanted to win the division, the only thing they really need to worry about at the moment is just beating LA on Tuesday. And then you just go from there and let the rest play out as it is. But yeah, it's a fun time of year. And it's just fun that the schedules have worked out in such a great way that there's so many important matchups at the end of the season and everyone's just fighting for so much. It's perfect.
How about this at the bottom there? Calgary, Nashville, and Winnipeg. Those 3 teams all have head-to-heads in the next 8 days.
It's amazing. It's how you want it to be.
Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, those 3 teams have head-to-head. So, it's wild, and it's so great for the sport. I think that this is coming down to, again, this late. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's even on Saturday night, too, and the Oilers, Kings, and Knights all played at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. And they kept showing the scores, and it's just it's nice to have that time of year where it's just you're curious. To be frank, I really don't care about any other teams until the 60-game mark. And I'm oh, wow, who are they playing tonight? But now it seems like every night I'm looking to see who's on the schedule. And it's a lot of fun. It just adds a little bit more to it right before the playoffs where you're watching almost every single game.
There is one playoff matchup in the NHL that is already locked in. It's the only one that is guaranteed to happen. It's Toronto-Tampa. Patrick Hamos threw us the question in the chat. He said, thoughts on Leafs Bolt set for round 1. I asked Frank Saravalli this question today, and I'll ask it to you now. If you were a sportsbook, who would you make as your favorite for that game? Or for that series? How would you set the line?
Oh, boy.
I copped out. I said pick 'em. I said -110 on each side. I really do think it's that tight.
That's what I was honestly going to say, -120 or something. But I guess you would give Toronto the edge because they will be the home team more than likely, which would maybe put it up that way. But that's the only thing for me that would edge them out. When obviously you look at Tampa Bay, they've got it all. But to be fair, Toronto pretty much has it all too. And you can criticize the goaltending, but Samsonov's been pretty solid this season, 9-15 on the year. That's strong. And Matt Murray went down yesterday, which boy, does that guy even play a full hockey game anymore? I feel like he's always just getting hurt, right? So Leafs, it's going to be such a fun series, to be honest. And I know Toronto fans have not been pleased with all this, the way that it is, but it's either Tampa Bay or the New York Rangers, so pick your poison.
The thing that's always going to work against the Leafs is whatever series they go into in the playoffs, they have the second best goaltending. So
yeah, exactly.
I know there's jokes about it, about the way those 2 teams have historically gone up against each other. Toronto not getting out of the first round, but at some point they are due. Patrick says, I kind of love to hate the Leafs, but I'll be cheering for them to win against the odds. I think the money bet is on Tampa, though. Yeah, I think so. The public money will probably skew it to a point where Tampa's the smart bet. But you don't want to hear about Leafs talk. You're here for Oilers Nation every day, live from the Sports Closet studio. We got back-to-back Sherwood Ford Giant game days coming up later on this week with tomorrow and Wednesday. So things are going to fly by. No Jay tomorrow, but we're working on a special guest to fill his spot on the show. Someone made this point in the YouTube chat. They said Edmonton plays 3 of their final 5 against teams that are out of the playoff picture. And again, we harped on this a lot last week, but the Golden Knights play all 6 of their games against teams in the playoff picture. The LA Kings play a lot of teams still battling and still being in the playoff picture. In their final 5, it's the Oilers, the Golden Knights, the Avs, and then they end with Canucks Ducks. So 3 of their 5 are against teams in the mix. Edmonton has the easiest schedule out of all of them. And based on how they played on Saturday, I'll be honest, there's no reason to expect they won't win all 3 of Anaheim, San Jose, San Jose.
I completely agree. The only game I'm thinking how are they going to do is Colorado. just because that's in Colorado. So that's what kind of leads me to more maybe the Abs at the advantage there. But also, I think eventually the Oilers are going to want to be like, screw you guys, we can beat you.
Yep.
So I think there'll be a little bit in that for the Oilers still, even if maybe for whatever reason there's nothing going on for them. But I think earlier in the year we were like, that maybe isn't a great end to the season for them. But now you look at it and it's like, in the sense of like, it might be too easy. But now it's like, okay, perfect. It's exactly what we need. And giddy up, oil up.
Yeah. Rusty says LA and Colorado are the only teams in the playoffs, right? Then Anaheim, San Jose twice. Yeah, like we said. You only have a couple of real tough matchups. The rest of them are very, very winnable. We talked about our AMA travel out of town scoreboard. Let's take a look at what you like tonight from a betting perspective there, Liam.
Well, Tyler, I said it before and I'll do it right now. The Minnesota Wild on the puck line tonight.
Woo, that's spicy.
They have won
Spicy,
their last 3 games by 2 or more on home ice. So I'm going to go with Minnesota plus 175. Vegas goaltending, they said it's probably Brossois starting, and if it is, then might be a lot tougher. But if they go with Quick, then I'm not really too worried about that one, to be honest. And Vince Dunn, I got it right here. Let me check, but I believe he's hit this one in 3 of his last 4. The shot proper.
Oh, it's up to 2.5 now because it was at 1.5 for a bit.
4 of his last 5, he's hit this shot prop.
Plus 135 payout's pretty solid.
Against Arizona.
Yeah, I like that spot. Good bet.
So,
good bets, Liam.
Thank you very much. Only 3 games tonight. So.
Yeah, quiet night. Tomorrow's a busy one around the NHL, including some more games that you will care about. Obviously, Edmonton, LA at 8:30. That's a big one. Seattle's also in Vancouver tomorrow night. Vegas has back-to-backs. Man, 48 hours from now, this divisional race can look very different. If best case scenario, there's a chance we do the show noon on Wednesday, and the Oilers are tied with Vegas, same number of games played, holding the tiebreaker, and a point clear of the LA Kings. That is like a realistic possibility. 48 hours from now, the Oilers are in the top spot in the division.
I was going to say, so that would make them first, right?
Yeah, and that would also put them pretty much first place in the conference, although Minnesota with their game could catch them, but still.
Have we been first up all this season? I don't think so.
Early on, we might have been.
Maybe very early. I think the highest we've been would have been second, which hasn't been something that's happened super often either. But
yeah,
from what I remember, so it'd be nice. I guess it doesn't matter how you start; it's how you finish, right?
Yeah, you're right. Vegas through the first month of the season, Vegas was ahead of them by 4 points. So Vegas looking to go wire to wire almost as the top team in the division. Vince is in. He says he hit on Oilers over 1.5 first period or over 1.5 third period goals. And over 4.5. He was sweating that until Draisaitl fired home the shorthanded marker. Yeah, if you were loading up on Oilers bet Saturday, you probably had yourself a pretty good time. I actually didn't bet on the game. I was debating. I was like, should I hammer the over? Should I hammer the over? And I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. Happy I didn't. Pradnesky says, I want to order a Nuge jersey, but does it come with the A or do I have to get it put on? That is a good question. I think it depends on where you get it.
I think if you get them pre-made, like should have the A. McDavid's has the C, so I would assume.
Yeah, that's a good point. We got a fresh McDavid jersey from our friends at the Sports Closet hanging up here in the studio. Again, shout out to our friends at Betway as well. 19 plus, please play responsibly. Here's something cool. Baseball's back, obviously, as you know. Good weekend of Jays ball, even though they dropped 2 or 3. It just feels nice to have baseball on every couple of days. I think they're a great spot tonight at minus 130 on the money line, but I want to take this a different direction. I saw a thing today. Alek Manoah is going to have a weekly spot on MLB Network. Every Monday at 10:30 Eastern, he's going to hop on and give his thoughts on the team, talk about life, talk about other things going on, big stories in the sport. If you could pick one Oiler to have a weekly interview spot on national TV,
who would it be?
Yeah, who would it be?
Draisaitl. It would be Draisaitl. I think he just gives very honest opinions on a lot of things. And he's got some personality to him as well. And I think I would like that. I can't really think of anybody else. Hyman might be decent.
Yeah, he might be a little too vanilla though.
Yeah, he's just a nice man.
Yeah, he's super nice, but I don't know if and he's interesting because he does a lot of different things outside of the sport, so he'd probably give you some good answers. But Draisaitl seems like he'd be a really interesting pick for that. Let me know in the chat who you would pick. Lance says Nugent-Hopkins. Kyle the Embalmer says Kane. Kane might be a good pick.
Yeah.
You'd get some spicy takes out of
We have
him.
seen this before, not with the Oilers, but Aaron Rodgers would go on Pat McAfee's show almost every week.
He still does.
I know, but I just thinking like an active player throughout the season, so it's kind of the thing. So
Tom Brady, when he was in Boston or in New England, he used to do Boston radio every Monday morning. Yeah. Just phone in.
Well, I tried to get Aaron Rodgers on this show, but
didn't work. We thought it would help the streaming numbers, and alas, it didn't. Ti says Vinny. I think Vinny could give some pretty good answers in there as well. Listening, Les says Hyman. Listening to him talk about his books and life is interesting. Yeah, that's right. I think Draisaitl is probably the answer, though. I think he's got the best sense of humor.
It's got to be somebody who has if they say something, no one in the locker room is going to be like, "Why did you say that?"
Yeah, you need someone with a certain amount of clout. I think that's a good point. Yeah. Curtum says Ekholm. I don't know. Man, when he was on that after hours after the one game and they were like throwing him all that shit about like Nuge's anti-aging cream and like all the insidey joke, he was just like, what have I gotten myself into? That kind of stuff doesn't happen in Nashville.
I got to watch the two that happened over the weekend too.
Oh yeah, Kenny Holland was on after hours.
Yeah, there wasn't really a ton that he said. Like, he spoke about trading players, and he's like, to just briefly say what he said. He's like, I don't really like doing it because there's a human side to all of this, right? Yeah. And it was funny though when he spoke to Barry, and he was like, "We got Ekholm. You're going to Nashville." It's like, oh, okay, well,
yeah, to the point.
Yeah.
Darian says Kane. Pradneski says Matthias Janmark. Good Lord, I don't even think Matthias Janmark wants to hear Matthias.
I've never heard him talk.
Yeah, I've never heard him talk either. Scott Ho called him Matthias Ekholm. Oh, well, that happens. The Oilers definitely like lead the league in after hours appearances per year because they're always that late game.
Yeah, they are. Like 2 again this week. It was just 2 weeks ago we had them. So do they have any more hockey night games? Maybe next Saturday, right? San Jose?
It's 2:00.
It's a nice 2:00 game.
2:00 start. A little matinee action. All right, couple updates. Let's get back to the hockey talk here before we wrap up the show today. Jason Gregor with 2 things from Oilers practice today. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins took a snapshot in the slot, hit the post, then hit Connor McDavid, who went off to the side. Hit McDavid in his knee, I should say. Nugent-Hopkins looked skyward as 97 winced. Gregor says McDavid does now appear to be fine, so nothing big there. And Ryan McLeod, he was on the ice once again, didn't take part in any of the line rush drills that they did. McLeod saying after that he thinks it'll be about another week until he can get back into the lineup. So the only missing piece of this Oilers lineup, maybe getting close, should play some games before the end of the season.
Then you take out Devon Shore.
Probably taking out Devon Shore and going 12-6 from that point going forward. Although this was a mailbag question every Monday, OilersNation.com. You can check out the Monday morning mailbag. It was, who's the 6th piece in your top 6? Because the first 5 are locked, right? Nuge, McDavid, Dry, Kane, Hyman, they're all there. Who's your 6th? And it was, has Yamamoto kind of permanently earned that spot? I think he has. He's really been producing well since the deadline. I even say when he's not producing, he's doing something with the scoring chances. He's hitting the post. He's getting robbed. Like, there are not that many times where Yamamoto blatantly misses a chance and you're like, boy, how? Like, it was an open net and you missed it or whatever. Or like you flubbed the shot. A lot of times he does get robbed. Yeah. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. I think Yamamoto's earned that, but I actually still think the best approach for this team is 11-7, where you rotate the 5 guys up top, and Yamamoto plays on your 3rd line with Foegele and Bukestad. That gives you a high-end 3rd line. Your 4th line, I would personally have it be McLeod, Costin, Ryan, and I think I'm at the point where I would take Janmark out, but Woodcroft loves him. Maybe you swap out Costin, whatever. I think having the 5 forwards rotated up top makes you so unpredictable. That's the way I would go with it.
Yeah, I think I like the idea for sure. To be honest, that top 6 is kind of buzzing right now. That
it is.
Draisaitl Yamo is seems to have that vibe from, what was it, 2019 when it was Nuge on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, and you even look at it too. Like, if you do 11-7, so you're taking out Devon Shore and Derek Ryan to put in Ryan McLeod. Is that the way you would do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Janmark plays on the PK. So, yeah, maybe it would work. I just wouldn't take out. Clint Costin, to me, has got to play a little bit more to get his juices flowing.
He's a guy who should be important for this playoff run, but I just don't think the coaching staff trusts him anymore.
I think that's kind of where they're at, too. We've seen it, but we've seen what Cassian can do in the past, too. And I think Costin as a There's a little bit more jam to him overall than what Cassian did in that 2017 run.
Deskra says Janmark is one of the best defensive forwards we have. I don't know if I fully buy that. I think he's good defensively. But if you're talking about, you need a penalty kill in the playoffs, I think you can find 5 other guys in that lineup outside of Janmark who are going to help you kill penalties. And Derek Ryan is a right shot center. So like you have Ryan, you have Bukestad, they'll both kill.
Hyman,
Nuge, McDavid kills now. Draisaitl will go out there on the kill if you need him. I think in the playoffs, it's all hands on deck. You can rely on McDavid and Draisaitl to kill penalties. I don't know. Rusty says he's elite on the PK. He is, but again, he's been on that PK all year, and the PK has been subpar all year. So are you worried about it? I don't know.
It's hard to be elite on the PK when your PK is 25th overall.
Exactly. I just don't.
I think he's very good in the penalty kill. I'm not trying to disregard what he's been able to do for it, but I don't think the Oilers have any elite penalty killers. If they did, they'd be a top 10 penalty killing team.
It's a great point. That is a great point. QF Pro says Holloway and Murray possibly. Murray skated again today. I think they're going to try get him into games before the end of the season just because, again, if it's break glass in case of emergency, you probably don't want that guy stepping in against Colorado in round 3. I mean, he hasn't played NHL hockey in 6 months. Get him in against those San Jose games. Play him a bit. Even if you have to go 11-7 for those games, just do it. Holloway, I think I would like to see Holloway up for the end of the season as well. I don't know how you can make it work money-wise. Maybe it's one of those things where you just happen to stumble into an emergency recall situation, but I'd like to get him an NHL game before the playoffs as well.
Well, they're in California on Wednesday.
Maybe someone mysteriously has an illness and Dylan Holloway needs to just quickly get shot up into the lineup.
Yeah.
Emergency recall. Why not? Who says no?
Not Dylan Holloway.
Nope, certainly not Dylan Holloway. He would like the NHL paycheck.
You could just send down Devon Shore.
Yeah, you could.
And just make it work.
Yeah, I know the cap is complicated, but I think you could do that.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. It would be nice to see Holloway back here, but I'm not overly worried about it because at least he's playing at the moment. It's a bit of a difference between him and a Ryan Murray, but yeah, I could see the Oilers maybe rotating in a couple of guys, but also I think they're just looking at it we want to win this division and we don't care if you've not played since September too.
It was also picture day for the Edmonton Oilers after practice today. So here's a nice look at everyone on the team, the official team photo getting done as the regular season draws to a close.
This picture bugs me.
Why?
Why is Vincent Desharnais not in the middle on the top row?
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. He does stick out up over there.
And then you have Nick Bukestad on the far left on the 3rd row.
Yeah.
Why not just put those two on the back row? And then you he's supposed to kind of be a bit of a pyramid type of thing and slants down. Also, Ken Holland's tie is not straight. Why didn't the photographer tell the man? Ruthless. Look at his. I got it right here. I've been looking at it the whole time. His tie is sideways.
Yeah, it's not even close.
No, come on. Who's taking these pictures?
Yeah, Flute says Ken just a goofy guy with his crooked tie. Maybe they told him and he was like, take the damn picture. I'm done.
And then you have Yamamoto, who's just right in the middle. I don't know. It feels like...
It doesn't seem like they organized this all that well.
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
Devin Shore's not even a big man, 6'1". Yamamoto makes him look like Desharnais. Golly Wally.
Epiphany with an answer says, can't use Shore for Holloway as Holloway gets 925K. Shore's 850. We have 0 cap. So again, would have to be like an emergency recall thing potentially.
Broberg.
Or it's, hey, Devin Shore, you like your NHL paychecks. You're sick. Yeah. And he goes, what? I feel fine.
No, you don't.
They go, no, you're sick. Your stomach hurts. Yeah, and they punch him really hard in the abs and go, you're not playing tonight.
Video him vomiting. See?
And send it to Gary Bettman. Look how sick he is. He's like crying on the ground. All right. We can wrap this bad boy up. Shout out to Betway as well as Sports Closet Studio. Also, AMA Travel, who sponsor our out-of-town scoreboard. Tomorrow, Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day. Maybe a special guest hopping in on the Star Mechanical guest line. You can check them out at starmechanical.ca. Lots going on. Frank will be around Wednesday. We got 2 games to get to this week. Giddy up. Also, my dad in the chat said, thanks for the B-Day wishes. Go Oilers. I don't think he's ever commented in the chat, so that's great as well. Everyone say hi to my dad. Enjoy the games tonight. Enjoy your Monday, Oilers fans. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Mountain Time. Chat with you then.